Well, I finally decided to get my ass up and do my hardcore TNA hardcore just pay-per-view review video. Maybe another 22-minute preview review for the hardcore just pay-per-view that happened last night. You know, that was an alright pay-per-view. I mean, it was last TNA Impact that happened on Thursday. Like I said before, was basically their go-home show, and they went home with it. And you know what? I thought it was very good. They had a viewing party before the show, and then they had online coverage on WrestlingInc.com. But I watched the show live. I ordered it on pay-per-view. So you know what? I just thought, you know what? Psh, why not? And I did. And it was a hell of a show, a great night, a lot of good matches. Nothing really to complain about until later on in the show. But, in my opinion, it was an alright review, and we're just going to get to the results. Well, the show kicked off with Guerrero and Hernandez versus Gunner and Kid Kash. This was basically an opening matchup just to get the crowd warmed up, and Gunner and Kid Kash are the first tag team to come out. Then Guerrero and Hernandez are next, and Chavo, before the matchup even gets started, gets double teamed after they dumped Hernandez out into the floor, and then Guerrero fights them off and then comes back into the ring. Kash comes into the ring, and then Guerrero hits the trio of suplex, the 3 or maybe 4 suplex, I forget how many, and then goes out on top. But of course, someone has to interfere, and that was Gunner, and Chavo went down to the top rope, and Gunner tags in, and they double team some more, and then there was more double teaming on Chavo Guerrero, and then Guerrero kind of had his comeback moment, hit him with the head scissors, but got clotheslined by Gunner from the apron, and then there was more double teaming on the pin attempt on Chavo. Well, Gunner after they had that big double teaming, Gunner chokes Guerrero, and Chavo tries to fight him back, but he gets stopped. Kash was fighting Guerrero, and then he crawls for the tag to Hernandez, and Hernandez slingshots him back and takes Kash down. Guerrero hits him with the frog smash to win the matchup. The match got a ton of time. It was probably about maybe 3 or 4 minutes. It was probably one of the best out of all of them that really got a ton of heat in the morning. Oh, I wouldn't say in the morning, because when you open up pay-per-view, they always have, in my opinion, they have the morning, the afternoon, and then, of course, the evening. Well, this was like our morning. We kind of got warmed up of what Hardcore Justice is going to be kind of like. I thought it was a good way to kind of kick off the show with an opening matchup. No really bad we didn't have a promo soon. They did the Pyro in, and Mike T kind of welcomed the Impact Zone to Orlando for Hardcore Justice. The Pyro gets off, and then the fans got all hyped. So that was basically the beginning, and then the match kicked off between Guerrero, Kid Kash, and Gunner and Hernandez. And, of course, the winners of the matchup, Chavo, Guerrero, and Hernandez. And then the show kind of kicked off with the Battle for Glory series promo video. And that was basically it. And we got a good second matchup of the night up. We got the Falls Country War Battle for Glory matchup for 20 points. And in my opinion, I thought that they got the crowd warmed up really good. I thought they were going to take this matchup. But after that, I kind of saw that these guys were kind of mid-card people. You had Rob Van Dam, the Pope, Magnus, and Mr. Anderson, 3 former WWE superstars, and you know that they're always going to do really good. Rob Van Dam came out first, then the Pope, and Buddy doesn't appear, and then the music starts again, but the camera's cut backstage, where he got jumped by the Aces and Aids. And they leave Pope laying there, and he screamed in pain. And we go back to the arena, and comes out Magnus, and then Mr. Anderson. Anderson comes out and kind of cuts the promo a little bit. He says, with Pope gone, that's one more he'll have to worry about. RVD gets sent by the outside by Magnus to start the matchup, and I thought that was a good way to start the matchup with that opportunity. We had a lot of back and forth pin attempts in this matchup. A lot of outside action, and then we had RVD and Magnus Trumbull out on the floor, and then RVD toppled him on the fan barrier, like the fence there or whatever, and RVD kicks Anderson in the face, but gets knocked on the apron. Anderson and Magnus go at it for the floor now, and then Anderson got a 2 count at ringside. I could see a lot of outside interaction because this was a false canoer matchup, and I didn't really notice that until he pinned it. So obviously they always have a lot of outside interference, or a lot of outside interaction out on the floor when they always have false count anywhere matches. So it was, overall, that was pretty good. And then the action started coming up. Anderson gets slammed by a steel chair. Magnus and Anderson brawl up on the stage area where RVD is still down. RVD suddenly appears and throws a chair at Magnus on that and takes him out. And we had a lot of ramp action, barriers. Crowd chanted RVD. There was a lot of outside interactions, but towards the end of the match, RVD hits a superplex, but RVD knocks him down the map. RVD hits the five-star frog splash on Magnus, but Anderson breaks the pin. Magnus superplex RVD on the ring. Magnus wrestles with a fan and his chair, but he can't get it. Magnus grabs another chair and finds RVD up on the stage. RVD ends up kicking out of his chair, then hits Magnus with a steel chair in the face, and your winner of this match, getting 20 points in the Bound for Glory series, Mr. The Whole Freaking Show, Rob Van Dam. Another great matchup. There was really nothing a lot to complain about. I mean, there was a lot of outside interaction because this was a Falls Anywhere matchup. And in my opinion, I thought that there were a ton of... the match got a ton of time. I think it got like 15, 16 minutes because you had a lot of great wrestlers in this matchup. They only had 3 people in this matchup, so it ended up only being a triple threat match. But you gotta have to count Aces and Eights kind of being in this match. And I wondered if they were obviously going to interfere in any other matches later tonight, but they did. Well, after that, we kind of had like a backstage promo segment or whatever. I wouldn't say a promo, it was more like a segment. Jeremy Borash is backstage with Madison Rayne, where apparently security has swept the building and can't find Aces and Aids. Madison Rayne talks about how Miss Tessmacher can't beat her tonight, and Madison blows Earl Abner a kiss and walks off. That is kind of like it's kind of like a filler storyline since TNA doesn't have like anything going on with them right now. In my opinion, that storyline is okay. I mean, it isn't the best in the whole world. So, I've seen better Attitude Era storylines in WWE and better WWE Legends coming back and retrading for TNA. Up next, the television championship was defended. It was Kazarian versus Devon. And we go down in the 1 hour of the tag team champions. Kazarian comes out, and then the TV champion, obviously Devon, comes out next. Kazarian stalls at the ramp before the matchup even starts, as Devon gets in his way. Devon controls the match as the brawl goes around ringside, as Kazarian kind of fights him off for escape. Kazarian slips on the steel steps, but Devon obviously catches him and slams him on the floor at ringside. Devon brings Kazarian back into the ring and fights him off. Kazarian turns things around and chokes Devon with the ropes. Devon makes Kazarian keeps control, but a 2 count by Kaz. Devon makes a comeback and hits him with a nice, beautiful leg drop, pin attempt. And there was more back and forth action for about maybe several minutes. Like 6 or 7 minutes, and Devon with his shoulder kicks him off the ropes for a 2, like an elbow, like shoulder. Devon hits him with the neck breaker and goes to the corner for another pin attempt. Kazarian kicks out, counters a pin, and rolls. Devon gets a close-up with a 2 count, and Kazarian goes for a fade 2 black. Fade 2 black is his finisher, but Devon blocks it, and Devon picks up a beautiful win with a nice big slam, which they really did pretty well with. Your winner of this matchup was Devon, who retained his television championship match. This matchup again got a ton of time. We didn't really see a lot of hardcore in this match. You know, we got a little interference with the the steel steps, and then we had a lot of blocks, a lot of pin attempts over. So in my opinion, it was a flowed well match. It was a good match. I wouldn't say it was alright, because they did do a lot of pinning sequence, a lot of back and forth action. So it was a good matchup. In my opinion, these two guys got a ton of time, as I said before, and it was just a good way to kick off the third matchup of the night. Next up, we had a video for the Knockouts title matchup. So TNA Knockouts title match: Madison Rayne versus Tessmacher, and Earl Hebner was the referee for this matchup. Madison Rayne comes out and first, and then Miss Tessmacher comes out second. A lot of back and forth action in this matchup. Madison hit a nice bridge suplex for 2 count. A lot of clotheslines, a lot of forearms, a lot of ramps, a lot of roll-ups in this matchup. And surprisingly, Tessmacher again, but at the end of the match, argues with Hebner as Madison rolls her up from behind and uses the ropes for the leverage for the win. And your winner as the new, and I mean new, TNA Knockouts champion, Madison Rayne. Finally, we have a new TNA Knockouts champion, Madison Rayne. That's how Christy Hemme said it. Well, we got a little bonus features after this matchup. It was pretty good. We had Earl Hebner goes out to the ringside. Madison is Tessmacher protests with Hebner, insists that she did get the 1, 2, 3 count. And in my opinion, nice, way to go. Alright matchup. Didn't see a lot of hardcore things. Not like Slammiversary when Taylor Wilde and Abyss came out. It wasn't awesome. My opinion, it was great. Well, after that, JB, Jeremy Borash, is backstage with the Twitter Machine, hashtag Twitter Machine Bubba Ray, to talk about his tonight's table matchup. Ray says he says that the aces and eights are supposedly coming for him tonight, so he's keeping his back against the wall and using caution. Ray says he left his house this morning and found these in his truck. It was an ace and 8 card. Ray talks trash and says they won't be able to find him. He will be in the ring picking up the 20 points, and says he's putting through people through tables, and he says he's going to become the Bound for Glory TNA World Heavyweight Championship. This was a promo slash interview. I wouldn't say it was so much an interview, only because he kind of talked trash, and he said he found this in his truck, and he said he was going to win the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. So you know what? It was a good, nice. So great. Well, after we take a look at the aces and eights and how Bobby Roode accused James Storm of being involved with the group. This happened maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago on TNA Live on Spike, and they kind of revealed the video package, so it was great. Next up, we had a Bound for Glory's tables matchup, Robbie E, WWE's version of Zack Ryder, I'm going to keep saying that, Bubba Ray versus Jeff Hardy and James Storm. Well, Robbie E comes by himself, no Robbie T, his bodyguard. Bubba Ray comes out of this chain as he kind of looks paranoid, as he looks around and he's paranoid at the Aces and Eights. Then Jeff Hardy, and then it was followed by James Storm. I liked how this match started. There was kind of some arguing, and then we got into the fighting. If you remember, James Storm, how he said it is, cross the line, and if you step, and he's given him the count of 3, he said 1, 2, 3, and he gave him the count. Well, great sequence of how that really happened. I really think TNA really did that very well. So Ray strikes Robbie E first. I thought he was going to strike Storm first, but then he hits, and then he gets hit by Storm and Hardy. So Storm and Hardy toss Robbie out of the ring, and they go to work on Bubba Ray. They had a double clothesline. Ray goes back and forth with Hardy and Storm, and then Ray yells out to Robbie, says he wants him to bring the table into the ring. Ray plays friends with Robbie, but knocks him down with the apron. As he brings the table in, Ray sets up the table, but Hardy and Storm beat him down. They go to double suplex him through the table, but Robbie moves the table. Part of the table actually breaks, but the match goes on. Robbie takes Storm and works on takes down Storm and works on Bubba Ray. Ray drops Hardy with an elbow to the chest, and then Ray kind of did a lot of work. He slid through the table. He went back and forth. He sets the table up. It got knocked down. There was a lot of back and forth punches. Robbie goes second rope, climbs for the superplex. We had a triple threat superplex with Hardy, Storm, and Robbie E on Bubba Ray. Hardy, there was a bunch of things. Hardy got back into control, but then the juice happened. The Aces and Aids, who we've been patiently waiting for. Aces and Aids. The card trick here. I have playing cards, boy. Don't make me bring out the Aces and Aids. Come out to the ring as they are in control. They get a super kick from Storm the Bully. Aces and Aids give Storm the thumbs up. Oh my god, I thought he was going to be part of it. Hardy runs and takes Storms down in the middle of the table. But Storm comes back and forth. Hardy hits him with a twist of hate, formerly the twist of fate in WWE. Aces comes back into the ring and distracts Hardy. Storm hits the last call. Bubba tosses Storm into the ring and puts Hardy through the table for the win. Your winner of this matchup, the Twitter machine, Bubba Ray. An excellent matchup, in my opinion. It gave me a 5-star rating only because TNA brought in the Aces and Aids, like they said. They had a lot of back and forth action. This was actually one of my 3 matchups of the night. A good way to kick off the week of wrestling, or the weekend of wrestling. So, great matchup. Awesome, I should say. I wouldn't say it was just awesome. It was a great matchup. And we went right into our next matchup for the X Division Championship. Kenny King versus Zema Ion. We went back and forth to start the match. King gets an early backslide pin, but misses near falls. And then King went into some submissions, and then kind of hits him with a corner, big kicks or falls. And then King hits Zema Iron with a neckbreaker, but only gets a 2 count. Iron gets low with more offense. Iron hits a moonsault, but lands on Kenny's knees. And then King hits a couple big clotheslines, some right hands, huge elbows, spin kicks. They were back and forth. King had a single Boston Crab on Zema Ion with facebuster as well, but King stops him with a big right. King throws Zema Ion off. King lands with his feet and kicks Ion back and forth for another 2 count. King hits Ion with an Alberto Del Rio-like Inseguri and rolls Ion up for another 2. King charges Ion into the corner, but whatever he did was a sloppy reverse on Zema Ion. Never screw up in the middle of the 6 or 4-sided ring, whatever. Amazingly, that was the end of the match as Ion gets the 3. What a freaking way to end the match. You know, they could have just went with it and made Dixie Carter pissed. But you know what? Whatever. That's alright. And still, your X Division champion of the world, Zema Ion. Well, next up was the 12-point Bound for Glory Series ladder matchup. AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels versus Kurt Angle versus the Wrestling Machine. Joe's gonna kill you, Samoa Joe. Everyone comes down the ring. They get a lot of anniversaries. They crash into the guardrail. Brings up the ladder. Does all these different moves. Does all these different moves. Tosses him in the ring. Does all these different moves. Does all these different moves. Does all these different moves. Well, I'll tell you what really happened. This matchup was awesome. This was the best matchup of the night. There was a ton of things happening. There were enziguri kicks. There were back and forth drop kicks. There were ladder matches. There were RKOs. There were suplexes. There were everything. I did not see TNA mess up anything or copy WWE's moves exactly. In my opinion, it was a great matchup. But we got to get to the ending. This was a long matchup. It got a ton of time. It was like 30 to 40 minutes. But this was probably the biggest matchup going into this. One of the best matchups. But the matchup of the night was AA Austin Aries versus Rude. But at the end of the night, the winner of the matchup and gets the 20 points is AJ Styles. Well, of course, because they're running that baby thing with Claire. Daniels is throwing in our baby shower. You know, I'm starting to like the baby storyline now. I honestly say, I'm going to admit, I'm taking back what I said 2 weeks ago. Or 1 week ago, excuse me. Yeah, 1 week ago for TNA's the baby thing. I threw with a finger. I don't know, what was I thinking? I actually kind of like what they're doing now with the storyline. Well, after that, there was an interview with Bobby Roode, and a fan asked if Roode was afraid of Aries, and apparently he heard him, and says that his victory last week was nothing more than a fluke. F-L-U-K-E, a fluke, he says. And Aries' dream comes tonight, and Roode will do the right thing and walk away as your Bound for Glory World Champion. Well, JV always does his main events and says, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our main event of the evening. And they kind of came out really, they kind of like squished in, and they were ready to get up. Well, Aries shrugs and spits water in Roode's face from his comments earlier. And Aries connects with a drop toe hold to go to the last edge to end the match early, but Roode bails out on the floor, and as he slowly gets back up, Roode finally gets back into the ring and slides right back out. Roode gets back into the ring and catches Austin Aries with him. With a corner dropkick, Aries teases his brainbuster, but Roode rolls back up with the floor. Roode shrugs it and shrugs it off and begins walking down the ramp. Roode asks for a timeout, but the ref says no. I don't remember where you can have timeouts in WWE or TNA Impact. Well, different rules and different companies, but he breaks the count and he turns around to eat a Austin Aries Palancho. Austin Aries rolls to the ring, and Aries hits him with the plank on the other side with a plank hold. Wow. Aries rolls out of it again and pounds him in the corner UFC style. Aries hits him with a snapmare, a dropkick, and the middle of the rope. Aries picks up Rude's and blasts him with a Ric Flair nasty chop. Ric Flair-like nasty chop. Aries kicks Rude harder than a rock, and Aries files on top of the top rope, and Aries crashes into the barricade. Rude drops the knee. Aries' chest goes in for a seated like Mark Henry bear hug. And they were fighting backstage. Scissor kicks, suicide dives, drop kick. But here we go. Aries dives out of the ring and does a heat-seeking missile right into the belt with the hands in Rude as the ref. We had two refs in this match. The original ref didn't see it as the match was going to restart with the original ref. So after the suplex happened, after the other ref got knocked out, well, here's what happened. Rude officially got the win, but there was an argument between the two refs, and Rude takes the belt and runs. Earl Hebner takes the belt from Rude. Earl contests with the referees in the ring. They were hearing different reports by the refs, but the match restarted with the original ref. Aries dives into the ring with a seeking missile right into the belt at the hands of Rude. Rude picks up Aries and drags him back into the ring. Rude rolls Austin Aries into the ring and covers him, but Aries still kicks out. Unbelievable. Rude shoves the referee, but the referee shoves back. Rude picks up Aries, but Aries rolls him up out of nowhere, putting the leverage, and Rude gets hit with the 3 count. Your winner of this matchup, and still your World Heavyweight Champion, Austin Aries. An unbelievable matchup. Great way to end the show. This was probably one of the 3 matches that highlighted the show. The first one was obviously Austin Aries and Bobby Roode. The second one was the tables matchup between Bubba Ray, is that it? Yeah. Bubba Ray, Devon, Bubba Ray, oh frig, Bubba Ray, Jeff Hardy. Here we go. Bubba Ray, Jeff Hardy. Bubba Ray, Jeff Hardy. Wow, I just did this too. Storm, James Storm, and Robbie E. That was the probably second one, and then the third one was the Bound for Glory matchup between Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, and Christopher Daniels. That was probably the best 3 matches. So what a way to end the week of wrestling. I don't know if you guys count that as the week. If you do, please let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe with your TNA Hardcore Justice 2012 review. And if you want to read more, link is in the description box below. Please go to page 1 if you want to read everything. I did not say everything in the article because it would have at least taken me an hour. If you want to read all of it, you can. Or if you just want to skim it, just go to page 1 and you will figure that out. Or you can go to the home button on WrestlingInc.com and just search TNA Hardcore Justice results. It's the first thing that comes up on the bar line that's up top. If you read my information, you know what I'm talking about. Subscribe.